Hey, look what I got.
Garage time.
I just picked up this. This is the entire front suspension of a Porsche 911 1968. So I don't really need the front suspension. I already have the brakes, steering rack, and all this componentry, but I bought this for these wheels. I haven't been able to verify yet if these are authentic wheels, but if they are, these are the very desirable Deep Sixes. These are 15-inch wheels. All the stampings are on the back side, and instead of just buying the wheels, I had to buy the entire lot. I don't know if this is fortunate or unfortunate, but this wheel is locked on with these factory-style locks, and of course there's no key. That meant that no one else could get them off, and I was able to buy this whole thing for 500 bucks. Of course, I Googled, how to remove Porsche locks. There are a couple different methods. One is to just try to take a sharp chisel, a round chisel, and just hammer away at this. That makes me really nervous. If these are what I think they are, these are very expensive wheels, and I don't want the impact hammer or even my own hammer to slip and mar the wheels. These need to be restored, but I don't want to create any damage on the wheels. Another method that I read about was to use a hole saw and center it over the stud and just try to cut it out. Same thing, I mean, if you go too deep, you're actually cutting into the wheel, and I really don't want to cut into the wheel. So what I am going to try to do is try to make a key that will go inside here and allow me to just unthread it, then throw them away. These holes are just slightly bigger than 1/8 of an inch. So the idea is to build some dowels that go in each of the holes and then tap them in so they stay in place. Man, I hope there's a treasure behind this nut here. That's the length I need to cut these pins, which is really just a drill bit. So I pushed all 4 pins in that I made. There's actually 5 holes, but I only made 4 pins. I'm just going to use the 4. And then I've laid this piece of metal on top, kind of looks like a hot dog. That is going to get welded to each of the pins. So I'll create 4 segments across each of the 4 pins so I have something to grab onto. I lost my hot dog. Now I'm ready. there's one down and I got 3 to go. It's going to be harder to get the bottom one in. This is what happens when your tape breaks loose and the piece falls right into your tungsten. This is not as planned. I wish I could make this wheel horizontal so I just have gravity help me, but right now gravity is definitely not helping. I'm trying to reposition the tire to be a little bit more leaned in so I can actually weld on it. So I have a bunch of contraptions up here to the ceiling. Okay, now that the tire's leaning in a little bit more, so now I should be able to do an easier weld on that. There we go, much better. So now I have the 2 hot dogs are welded onto the pins. So I'm going to do 2 more right here in the crux of this corner. My ring of hot dogs kind of connected to each of those 4 pins and just made a ring around that stud. So now I'm going to try to get a piece of tubing to fit over the stud so I can, you know, twist it out. Oop, this is just a little too small. Aha! That should do the trick right there. Now the tubing is welded to the ring. You know, none of this is pretty, you guys. I couldn't weld it here on the bottom because it's just too tight, but I did get, you know, a pretty solid weld around the 10, 11 o'clock area, and then from about 1 to about 3 o'clock. Now I'm going to try to weld this nut on here. Just got to find a way to hold it. Oh yeah, need more tape. Who thinks this is going to work? I am not sure it is. The weldability of the drill bit is not very good. So what's likely to happen is it's either going to come out or it's going to shear the drill bits off. In hindsight, I probably should have used the softer metal going into the holes, but nothing else to do but give it a try. Here goes nothing. Oh yeah. Look at that. Whew. Sweet. Actually, I want to use this for the other side, so I'm going to see if I can just knock that loose. If I can get these pins out. Oh. Two of the pins are broken off, which kind of sucks, but at least I can get this wheel off. Like I said, the weldability is not great, so if I do the other side the same way, which I'm sure I will, I'll weld in some different pins. I wonder how many years it's been since this has been off here. Oh yeah. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's see if these are authentic or not. I'm just trying to clean this off. This is where the labeling should be. I can see a 6 right here, which is good. Let's use a little degreaser on there. Yeah, so 6J15. And then right here is another number. Let me come around. Okay, this number is a 901 36101. These look like authentic Fuchs, you guys. At least has a Porsche part number. There's normally a little fox symbol, which I don't see the fox. Let me clean it up a little more. This side has the exact same key pattern. So I think I'm going to just give it a try and use the 2 pins that are still intact and just try to use it. If these 2 pins break off, it's not the end of the world. I can pull them out and then redo everything I did on the other side. One last squirt of good luck. Yeah! Got even more lucky on this side. I thought for sure that would break off. Just like that. So no damage whatsoever to the wheel, which is what I was after. Here's this side. It's actually cleaner than the other sides just because I put that penetrating oil on there. These wheels were a major score. Also, the suspension and brakes, everything, I couldn't be happier. I got lucky on the wheels. They're valuable. I don't know that they're gonna be on this car. I'd like to use them here in the front. I did plan on some wider wheels because I rolled the fenders, made for some additional clearance. But these are great options. It's going to be difficult to find something that matches for the rear though, because the fenders are flared and I really need 8 or 9 inch wheels on the back. Might be hard to find the rears, but this is a good find nonetheless. I always am buying and selling and looking for parts. That's partly, I've said this in previous videos, that's partly what keeps this hobby going for me on the revenue side. It just kind of keeps it sort of neutral. Plus it allows me to, take a little bit more time to work on the car, which I'm really putting a lot of time in right now. So I hope you enjoyed the video, how to take off the locks on Fuchs wheels. I'm sure there's plenty of ways to do it. I just didn't trust taking it to a tire store and having them damage the wheels.